Hello everyone, welcome to today's news charter. Let's begin with the topics of the day. Before that, let's have a look at a practice prelims. So it is a question from modern history. Consider the following statements. Two statements are provided and they are asking which among the above statement is or are correct. So let's look at the statements. It is from the time of advent of Europeans in India. So this is the topic which generally people skip, but it is also very important. We have to study about it. Battle of Kaleshwaram occurred in 1741, where Dutch East India Company was defeated by Marthanda Varma. So Battle of Kaleshwaram is a very important battle. You need to study about it. It was a victory to Marthanda Varma, who was the ruler of some parts of the present-day Kerala. So this statement is correct. Pedro Alvarez Cabral was the founder of the Portuguese power in India is a wrong option because Pedro Alvarez Cabral was not the founder of the Portuguese power in India. It was Francisco de Albuquerque. He was the founder of Portuguese power in India. So this statement is wrong. Let's start with the topics of the day. Internal migration of women in India. So in the recent times, what happened? The minister of the minister who is taking care of women portfolio in the central government came up with a statement that we are going to find out about the labor force participation of women in India and also about the migration of women in India. So when it comes from such a topmost position in the government, we need to study about it. We need to learn about it. Let's take a look at internal migration of women in India. Periodic labor force survey, which was conducted in 2020, which covered 2020 to 2021, says that the total amount of internal migration in India was 27%. 27% of the people in India, almost 1/4 of the entire population of the country, in some way or the other, are internal migrants. They keep moving from one place to another within the country. The reason for migration for women is 81% of them is because of marriage and 10% because of family members and 2.42% because of employment. This clearly shows that women's migration for employment or education, these are all positive things. That is very less. Movement of women because of marriage, because of family reason is high. This shows that the employment opportunities for women is also less and the participation of women in labor force is also less. The 3/4 of migrant women in our country are actually unemployed. That means 75% of the women who move from their home to some other place are actually unemployed. Whoever is employed, 14% of those migrants are actually employed in self-wage and employed jobs, and 12% are in casual labor. So they are not in a very productive position. We need to tap the women workforce of the country is what this entire article suggests. Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project, especially for prelims. For mains, I don't think you will get any questions directly. But for prelims, it is very important. It is very important because it is trying to, as per the state government of Telangana, the Telangana government told very clearly that the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project is going to prevent drought conditions in Telangana. Some parts of Telangana are under severe drought regularly. So this particular irrigation project is considered to be a boon for the entire state. It is a multi-purpose irrigation project. Multi-purpose irrigation project means it is going to provide irrigation to different kind of landmass and it is going to contribute for hydroelectricity generation also. So it focuses on Godavari River in Kaleshwaram, which is located in Bhupalpalli district of Telangana. So this point is very important. Currently, this is the most important point. It is the world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation project. Lift irrigation project means water is taken from the lower elevation point to the upper elevation point. That's what we call as lift irrigation project. So it is very difficult to construct a very big lift irrigation project. Here we have constructed and it is the world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation project. Godavari is the second longest river in India. Ganga is the longest river. After this, Godavari is the longest river. Its source is, so whenever we talk about such irrigation project, we need to study about the river and the river system. the tributaries of that particular river, etc. You can cover this with NCERT books also. Basic things I have mentioned here. Godavari River, its source of starting is Trimbakeshwar, which is located in Maharashtra. Its influence is until the confluence of Pranhita. That is, its influence means this project's influence. Kaleshwaram lift project's influence is going to be there until the confluence of Pranhita River and Godavari River. Pranhita is a tributary of Godavari. Pranhita itself is a confluence of multiple small rivers such as Varda, Painganga, Vainganga, etc. So these rivers combine together as Pranhita, and then Pranhita confluences with Godavari. So until this point, Kaleshwaram lift irrigation projects influence will be there. So these are all the basic informations you need to know from prelims point of view. It is important. Today there was an article in the Hindu about INA trial. So basic idea about INA trial is very important. It is a very important topic for prelims always from modern history point of view. So what is INA trials? INA, as all of you know, it is the Indian National Army. Indian National Army was fighting against the British in the World War II under the leadership of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Here what happened is a lot of army personnel from the British Indian Army jumped the ship into the INA and started to fight for the nation, started to fight along with the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose. After the war, since INA couldn't win the battles in Myanmar and in the northeastern part of India, they were defeated by the British Army. So a lot of army personnel were captured by the British. So after the Second World War, what the British did is they started trials against those people who left the Indian Army and joined the Indian National Army under Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So this trials is called as INA trials. INA trials became very famous because British did a huge blunder by making it very public. British thought that whoever is leaving the army should be punished very seriously and it should be well known to every person. So they conducted a public trial in the Red Fort of India. However, it was an opportunity which the Congress and other parties and other national leaders made use of because they told that the British is trying to humiliate the national leaders. So it became very famous and it resulted in a lot of mutinies and revolts all over the country, which finally resulted in British leaving the country itself. So basic things which you need to know, it was a public trial. The first trial, which included three important personnel, is very important. Shah Nawaz Khan, Prem Kumar Sehgal, and then Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon. So these three people were combined together and a trial was conducted. The Indian National Congress at that time came up with a committee called as INA Defense Committee. The people who were involved in it were Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Tej Bahadur Sapru, Bhulabhai Desai, Kailashnath Karju, and then Asaf Ali. So these people combinedly started a defense committee and they focused on defending the INA personnel. So officers of Indian Army joined the Indian National Army and later fought in Burma. All these points I have mentioned. The British filed case against them, started the trial by telling that they are subjected to treason, torture, murder, abetment to murder during the Second World War. About INA trials, from modern history point of view, you need to study very well. It's very important. About Korean Peninsula, we need to know from UPSC point of view, what we need to know is about the Korean Peninsula, the location. So we have North Korea and then South Korea. Both are located to the northeastern part of China, which is the Manchurian Plains. So here both of them are located to the western part of the Korean Peninsula. LOC is there. To the eastern part of the Korean Peninsula, the Japan Sea or the East Sea is there. It is closely located to Japan. Jeju Island is a island which is under conflict between the Korea and Japan. So that also should be known. So what exactly is the problem that is going on in Korea? After the Second World War, half of Korea, the northern part of the Korea, was captured by China and Russia especially, and the southern part was under the control of United States of America. Since the southern part was under the control of United States of America, the southern Korea became democratic in nature. The northern part of Korea, because of the influence of Russia and China, became communist, and then Later at present, it is under a despotic rule. So this is the problem. The major problem at in the recent times is North Korea had a strategy that at some point we will try to link both the North and South and build a single country and name it as Korea. But recently, North Korea have left this plan. North Korea has told that South Korea will be a enemy country. So the conflicts between North and South has been increasing. So we need to know about the geography of Korean Peninsula. Practice question of the day: is internal migration a major problem for Indian economy? Substantiate the answer with examples. If you are getting such a question in your mains examination of UPSC, you should know that internal migration is a problem, but it is also good because we get a lot of labor force, especially from those states which are under serious unemployment. We get labor force to those states where labor requirement is there. So it is a method to generate economy, it is a method to generate employment too. However, the problem is we do not have proper rules and law to regulate the labor force. We do not have uh, good schemes to ensure the livelihood of the internal migrants are managed in a proper way. So these are all the points which we should write down in the answer. One important point from mains examination point of view, which you need to know, is about Anuradha Basin case. About Anuradha Basin case. So, Anuradha Basin versus Union of India is a very important case. It is about internet restrictions. In India, India is considered or India is called as the place where the country where most amount of internet restriction happens. So Anuradha Basin versus Union of India, in this particular case, the Supreme Court clearly told that access to internet is a fundamental right of the people of the country. And if the government is trying to cut down on internet access because of some law and order reason or because of some security reason, that should be proportionate in nature. It should not be a blanket restriction on internet. It should be proportionate in nature. That means for very small reasons, for very small incidents, you cannot cut down the internet access for the people. Only if it is a very serious issue, you can cut down. Else, you can restrict only certain websites or certain links, etc. So these points you can use in your mains examination if you are getting a question about internet cut down. From prelims point of view, one important point, such questions can appear in science and technology. Fentanyl. Fentanyl is a major point of concern between USA and China because fentanyl is a raw material which is used to make drugs, narcotic drugs. So USA government have claimed that it is from China we are getting the raw materials with which the South American countries are manufacturing drugs. South American countries, in the sense, the drug cartels of South American countries. They are trying to manufacture drugs. They are manufacturing drugs using fentanyl, and it is getting into the borders of United States of America. So recently, China and USA have agreed that they will try their level best to cut down on this particular measure. So about fentanyl, we need to know some basic ideas. It is a highly potent synthetic opioid drug used as analgesic. Analgesic is pain relief. So from medical point of view, it is being used as an analgesic, but misuse and abuse of fentanyl is a major problem in United States of America. It is approximately 100 times more potent than morphine and 50 times more potent than heroin as an analgesic. China is the primary source of precursor chemical synthesized into fentanyl. So these are all the basic points you need to know. Take a note of it. All the best, study well. Let's meet tomorrow.